Welcome to TechZine TV.
Welcome to TechZine TV. We're still at Agentforce World Tour in Amsterdam with Salesforce. With us is John Mazolis. He's CIO at Corsearch. Welcome to our show.
Thank you for having me.
Corsearch, can you tell us a bit what the company is, what it's about? Because I don't know if every viewer of us knows what Corsearch is.
Yes, more than happy to elaborate. So Corsearch is the leading provider when it comes to IP services, intellectual property services. We safeguard the entire life cycle of an IP. So from registering a trademark when you want to build your own company, all the way to have established a company, and let's say it's a retail company, now you are selling things on the internet. We protect those assets that are being sold, in the sense that if you are a luxury brand, for example, you will have a lot of potential counterfeits on the internet. So what we do as a company is we come in, we validate marketplaces and make sure that if there is something counterfeit, we actually take that down. So we, in a fun way, we clean up the internet so that only the legitimate products will be listed to be sold.
Yeah, so it's just IP and brand protection.
IP, brand and content protection, and the IP side sits within our trademark services. So yes, it's a holistic approach to trademark services, brand and content protection.
That's a pretty big company, right?
It's a pretty big company, a lot of global presence as well. So yeah, and quite an old company in a way. We've been around since 1949.
Oh,
so
that's a pretty old, yeah.
That was before the internet, so
that was before the internet.
That must have changed your business model a great deal.
Quite a lot. And maybe AI is going to change it in the future, right? But yes.
For the better or for the worse?
Hopefully for the better. Like, we are already leveraging a lot of AI within our products. So as I mentioned, we have like two main business lines, trademark services and brand content protection. We have two main platforms there. Both of them are now, full of AI capabilities, full of AI features. So we try to leverage the AI capabilities combined with our human expertise. We hire the experts in the field. So the combination of AI and human expertise is what also makes us a market leader.
Just to be clear, just for my information, when you see a sort of a portal or a website on the internet that does counterfeit
Products,
bags or products or whatever, you can take that down.
Yes.
But you don't take the manufacturer down, right? So that's something. But do you work together with other authorities to actually take the manufacturer down?
So there is online and offline. We are working with them as well. So we try to protect the entire life cycle and production line. But indeed, the main focus for us is the online presence, that sits in marketplaces online. But there is a part which is also talking about the offline.
But we're actually not going to talk about this at all at the moment, right? Perfect.
Because we're here at Agentforce, so we're talking about Salesforce products and integrations and what companies are using. And what are you using then?
We are using Salesforce internally as well as our CRM. Yes. And we are heavily relying on Slack as well as our core operating system, as we call it internally.
Okay. You just gave a presentation here about Slack. What was it about?
So the presentation was about the journey Corsearch undertook this year to transition from what we consider our legacy way of working, which was through the Microsoft environment, and we transitioned into what we consider a more modern workspace, which is a combination of Google Workspaces and Slack.
Okay, because from a platform perspective, that looks like you're going back, right? Because you go from one integrated platform into two different platforms that are connected to each other. But why did you go for this transition?
It is indeed, you can see it as from one to two, but for us it's all about the collective capabilities that Google and Slack offer to us. We see that the combination of those two has better security, has better user experience, has way more features, has a lot more integration capabilities. So it actually enables our workforce to be far more productive, to be far more efficient in what they do. So while, logistically you could argue from one to two, the reality is that we have actually gone from a set level of capabilities to a very almost infinite level of capabilities.
Is that mostly due to the fact that you use Slack now, or is it due to the fact that you use Google now, or is it just a combination of the two?
It's the collective of those two, right? Obviously, they are different platforms and they serve different purposes, but the combination of those two and the way we integrate those and the way we have positioned them in the organization means that people now consider Slack to be kind of their starting point, with Google to be there for everything that needs to be hosted somewhere. We try not to use email, for example, so much, whereas in the Microsoft environment, everything was emails. I would get 200 emails a day. Now
you didn't use Teams to chat with each other?
We did, but I think the UI of Teams never was a proper fit for us, at least. And
well, not only for you, I think, but it's. But I do think, I agree with you in the sense that we have actually done the same sort of transition, right? So we've actually transitioned from Microsoft to Google as well, and we were already using Slack internally. And I already recognize, and we did it a couple of weeks ago, and I already see that the integration between Google and Slack is much better than the one between Microsoft and Slack.
Yeah, absolutely. It is much better. And I saw some very good upcoming features in the event today. So I think those two companies in the background are working quite heavily to actually build way more integrations and enable a connected ecosystem.
But you never considered Google Chat because you probably talked to a
The
Google sales
the
guy.
reality is no. And indeed, Google was quite pushing in a way to get us to Google Chat. I have used Google Chat. If I could put Google Chat and Slack side by side, I think Slack is a superior product, at least at this moment.
Yeah.
So for us, yes, the option, their decision was very clear.
And what are
It's
the
Slack.
wins for you now? You're out of the Microsoft ecosystem into the Google and Slack. What helps your colleagues to do their job better or more efficiently? What changed?
Communication, collaboration has changed significantly. I know that Microsoft, for example, allows the option to co-edit a file at the same time.
Yeah.
It's not as smooth, it's not as nice, it doesn't always synchronize easily. So for us, using, for example, Google Drive, Google Docs, or Google Sheets, where 20 people can be collaborating in real time in a file, that has made a massive difference. Google, in that sense, also offers, for example, a quick meeting from within that file. And then if you take that into Slack as well, where you build on huddles, where you build on channels, on Slack Connect, we actually see that we can collaborate and connect not only internally with our teams, but also with our vendors, with our customers. We can bring everyone into Slack, and that creates a central ecosystem for everyone to live in.
That's what I wanted to ask, right? I mean, that's probably the centralization part of it, because I find that if you're used to working in the Microsoft environment and you move over to the Google environment, working with Google Documents is a completely different mindset. But if you can centralize that in Slack in this instance, so you always go through Slack to work in those documents, it's much easier to make the transition as well, I would imagine, right?
Absolutely. You spoke earlier about from 1 to 2, right?
Yeah.
The reality is that in the Microsoft world, there were many ones. There were many singular ones that we had to go through. And now within Slack, within the integrations, for example, I need to approve a spend for someone. I click a button in Slack. I don't need to go to a different platform. I don't need to do anything else. I need to approve a procurement spend. Click a button. So everything can happen within Slack. I get a meeting notification. I get it in Slack. I click the button. Google Meet pops up. I can join the meeting.
And so practically, so when did you start the migration? This year?
We started the
And
migration.
how long
this
did it
year.
take?
It took 3 months in total. Slack was fairly quick because Slack is a very plug-and-play solution. So it was very quick, and we did Slack fairly quickly. And then we did Google within 3 months period.
Okay.
Yeah, because you needed the time to move files from OneDrive to Google Drive and to move emails, probably.
The reality was that we had still some small Google instances. Corsearch is the sum of a number of acquisitions. So as we acquired some of the companies, they brought some legacy with them, some of them Microsoft, some of them Google. So we were actually segregated into multiple platforms. So now we did a massive collaboration and coordination to bring everything into one. So now we only have one Google environment, we only have one Slack environment, and everyone and everything lives in
So you
that
could
environment.
already compare internally how other parts of the organization were working.
We saw a lot of, within quotes, legacy. We saw a lot of inefficiency in this process. And we saw that, for me, the biggest challenge in this journey has not been the technical side of things. Moving a file from Microsoft OneDrive to Google Drive, it works. And there are tools out there that do it for you, along with
It
permissions.
just takes a really long time, is our
If you have a big one,
Exactly. But the challenge for us and the area where we spent actually most of the money in this transition as well was the change management, the human side of
the
things.
human side.
Educating people, training people, making sure that everyone understands the new platforms and their capabilities. Because again, what I just mentioned earlier for Slack is that if you only use Slack as a DM tool, you can, and it works. But is it the best use of the tool? No, it's the very basic. It's the 10% of what you can do. Leveraging that to 20, 30, 90% of what the tool offers, that has been the challenge for us and the success of the journey.
What are you using in Slack that makes a difference then, besides DMing?
So obviously, how we use channels, the fact that we have specific channels for specific projects, for specific teams, for specific activities, the fact that we have now centralized communications in Slack, like we have an announcements channel, we have channels to celebrate wins, we have channels to greet new joiners and so on. So that's the way we are structuring Slack. But then also the capabilities. I mentioned earlier about Slack Connect. I'm now talking to all my vendors and to many of my customers through Slack. I don't use email. I don't go to different platforms. Everything happens in Slack in real time, or even offline if those customers are based in different time zones. But everything lives in a single channel, and with capabilities like the AI that Slack has introduced in summarizing a channel or a thread, you can very easily wake up in the morning and see everything you've missed within a couple of seconds.
And do you also connect a lot of other solutions to it?
Absolutely. The more the merrier.
Yeah.
That's my viewpoint. If I could integrate every single system we have within Slack, therefore making Slack the go-to location in the morning where you see everything and you do everything through Slack, that's kind of the dream for me.
And is that within reach, do you think? Or are there some things that need to be tweaked first to actually do that?
If I look at when we first moved to Slack around February this year, I would say that that's not within reach, at least not in the foreseeable future. If I look at today and I look at how many new integrations have been developed and how many are coming through the funnel almost every day, I think that we're not far off from an ecosystem where either through MCPs or through native integrations, we can actually have a lot of systems interconnected, if not every single system.
So you give every employee a thin client with only Slack on it, and that's it.
Ideally, that's it, right? A Chromebook with Slack and Google Mail, and you're done.
You're a pretty large organization. Is English the language in which every employee has to communicate?
English is the main language used within Corsearch, and everyone works in English.
Okay.
But again, there are new tools out there, and even Slack itself is rolling out translation, live translation. So people are or will be encouraged to speak in different languages. Right. Only recently, I was talking to some of our colleagues in the Shanghai office. My English is probably not very clear or very good. They also have an accent in their English. So, without sounding weird or anything, it helps if you're able to express yourself in your own mother tongue as well.
Yeah.
The live translation is very important.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the languages are coming, so we need to wait for the whole Europe.
No, exactly. And again, English is an established language, so everyone is comfortable in using English as a main language. I think it's kind of a cherry on the top, right? If you can bring more languages, people can express themselves in their native language.
So what kind of mistakes or things you may not have done right in the first place in terms of change management or whatever, right? But would you advise other companies if they want to
Migrate.
what should they do? What shouldn't they do? Or what are the first things that they should sort of look at?
Obviously, nothing is perfect, right? And
No.
every journey has its hiccups, and I think everyone will tell you it was a
if-
smooth ride.
They can learn from your mistakes.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Hopefully small ones.
Exactly.
Hopefully small ones. Yeah.
One of the few things we realized after we rolled out Slack is that we saw a little bit of channel fatigue. So people who were used to only a handful of channels in Teams were suddenly introduced to many channels, and maybe we pushed too hard.
He knows the feeling.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of all the channels. I usually mute a lot of them.
Yeah.
I create a lot of channels, and he mutes them.
I'm on your end. I'm also one that creates a lot of channels, like every different conversation almost lives in a different channel. But the way we try to counter that in a way is educating people that there is nothing wrong with leaving a channel. We try to make sure that all our channels are public unless it really needs to be private. So everything is searchable. Everything is easy to access. You can find the information. You can find the information even without entering the channel. And then you can also leave if the channel is no longer relevant for you. So we saw a little bit of channel fatigue in the beginning. And then we had to almost run a campaign to educate people that there was nothing wrong with leaving a channel. There was nothing wrong with silencing a channel. Just act the way that works for you.
Yeah.
That's also a change management thing, right?
That is a change.
Because you will get people to come along with the journey much quicker like this. Than if you say, look, you have to leave all your channels unmuted.
And what I wondered is, do you use the AI from Google Workspace, the Gemini one?
We do. So one of the big benefits that we introduced Google was Gemini was added on automatically, right? We didn't have to do anything extra.
No.
So Gemini, Notebook LM, Studio AI, these are heavily used within the organization today. It's one of the things that we measure as well as an executive team. How much are these tools used and how can we enable people more and more? Only recently, we launched a number of AI HR agents so that now everyone within their respective region, instead of asking a question or raising a ticket for HR, can now go to that AI agent, which is fully trained with our policies, our handbooks, the local legislation as well, local laws. So every question you have for AI or for HR can be answered through AI, at least as a first line of support.
Okay, so are you in general, are you happy with the adoption of not only the AI, but of the entire sort of Slack Google thing that you did? Are you happy with the adoption? And
it's a big project, I guess.
It's a big project.
It has been a big project, right? And while the migration itself was 3 months, obviously the preparation and the after go live, the aftercare, making sure that we continuously enable people. Because for us, you mentioned this change management. For us, change management didn't finish when we went live with Google. It actually continues up until today as well, because we need to make sure that our employees, our people are continuously educated on how to leverage the tools, how to use the new features as well. Like Google and Slack, they're rolling out things every day. So how we can leverage those and how we can make our lives easier from those is something that we continuously do, and it's part of a continuous journey for
So
us.
the fact that they roll out things every day doesn't scare you in the sense? Because that's what I hear from other companies as well. Like, look, there's so much new stuff is coming out. I can't keep up. And if I have finally wrapped my head around one thing, then another thing comes, and it's just one big.
I think the beauty here is that everything they roll out applies to potentially different roles, different people, different functions. So yes, if as a singular user you try to take everything in, I think it becomes overwhelming.
Yeah.
But if something is relevant for sales, and my job would only be to kind of direct the update to the sales team, the next update to the finance team, or the next update to the IT team, then you almost have me acting like a traffic light. I just direct traffic where it needs to be and allow people to enable it, to play with it, to make sure that they can actually take advantage of it.
All right.
But you are basically an ambassador of the Work OS vision and the digital HQ vision that Slack presented the last couple of years.
Absolutely. It's a journey that, I've been using Slack for many, many years, even before AI became a thing. But yes, I've definitely seen that the improvements over the last period have actually enabled Slack to be, that operating system, to be more than a tool on the side. When I first started using Slack, it was another tool on the side. Right now, I'm trying to build it and bring it to the center of everything we do. Again, for me personally, Slack is taking a large portion of my screen every single day, and I try to do pretty much everything within Slack.
All right.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
For being on our show. Thank you for watching TechSign TV. We'll be back with more, so keep watching.
All right.
Perfect.
Thank you for watching TechScene TV, the channel about enterprise technology that brings you IT insights and analyses from events all around the globe. We cover everything, everywhere. Visit techscene.eu for more written in-depth articles and analysis, or keep watching techscene.tv. Don't forget to subscribe to our channels and share your favorite videos with your colleagues. We'll see you soon.